Hello, friend. It is Amy Tangerine, and I'm in the studio, excited to share the first Map Your Month printable. I know some of you have already grabbed your copy, which is linked in the description box below. In this video, I'll share the process of how this is going into my creative journal to serve as a permission slip to create. You already have permission, but we all live busy lives and often put our creativity and ourselves last on our to-do lists. As you can see here in this creative journal or art journal, whatever you'd like to call it, it's inviting and colorful, designed to be a space to spark ideas and for full permission and participation for whatever is calling me. It's this open invitation and so beautiful. Here's an example of a spread that's using the 5 ways to find your flow printable. It's all about embracing the season, intentionally crafting and journaling using the prompts available. If you took my workshop in Scrap School Summit, you have access to this. If you want to grab a copy, then it's also linked below. I'm looking for an opening as I flip through splashes of paint, magazine clippings, watercolor, quotes. I think journals can be whatever you dream them to be. I like to use the pages as a place to put all those fun supplies we like to collect to good use. If you'd like to play along, the printable is linked below for instant download. At the minimum, you'll need a favorite pen, and I recommend a journal or notebook, along with tape runner or a glue stick, and a pair of scissors. Though you can print this out on any type of paper, I simply used regular printer paper, just standard copy paper. It's 20-pound weight if you're curious. You probably have seen me use this Tombow Fudenosuke in black before, as it's one of my go-to favorites. The notebook is my collaboration with Archer and Olive and has a nice thickness to it to hold paints, but you can really use whatever you have on hand. I want to encourage you to use your supplies. All right, let's do this. I'd love to invite you to take some deep breaths and really be present throughout this process. Also, kindly let go of any negative self-talk or ideas of perfectionism that may be creeping in. Allow this time together to be a place where you are open to the answers you are seeking. This is your time, your thoughts and words going into a journal that's uniquely your own. And you can feel free to show up just as you are. I'm so happy you're here. We all have the power within us to craft a life we love. By carving out this time to intentionally map out how you want this month to unfold is a gift. Thanks for coming along on this journey. As you fill out the prompts and the bubbles, be open to what comes from within you. I like to approach a lot of this with heart-centered feelings and really listening to what my intuition is telling me. Often I wake up with questions or just one big question, and that's what I've used as a prompt and as a start to my morning pages, which I did for years that I no longer regularly do anymore. Instead, I find myself making sure to carve out at least 10 to 15 minutes a day, luckily oftentimes more, where I can freely play with my supplies and get crafty. This is one of those opportunities I like to take to be reflective, present, and intentional about how I want to make abundance possible. So as I'm cutting out all of these little bits, I'm also thinking about how I want to map out the month, meaning move the pieces around and add other elements to it as well. You can approach this however you'd like and use the supplies that are calling to you. Perhaps you've been keeping or collecting some art supplies that are just begging to be used. This is a great opportunity to dive right in and use them. This is a fresh pack of Altenew watercolor brush markers in Tropical Fiesta. And I removed the little circles and I'm squeezing out the colors. Though you don't have to match these colors that you're using as a foundation on your journal to the colors of the printable, you can definitely choose your own. I've decided to stick with the palette because I quite like it. Well, I designed it, so that makes sense. I really hope you're enjoying creating with it alongside me here. You could definitely leave the background alone or make some marks with markers, stamps, anything that feels good to you. Leaving the background white is an option, but I felt called to add some splashes in tones that coordinate with the colors of the printable. And you can also move around the pieces and use a heat tool to speed up the drying process. I love adding washi tapes as well, and if you have a collection of those, they work great as part of the foundation and background too. If you're feeling inclined, take the supplies you love and put a twist on the way you use them. I rarely use washi tapes vertically for some reason, but here I wanted to use these spots on this right side, right along the paper's edge. Making discoveries along the way about what we love and how our style evolves is one of the fun results of actually playing with our supplies. It's also fulfilling to include the things we love in our crafting and memory keeping. Using a glue stick and some scrap paper, I am making my first big commitment to sticking something that could be considered the title or the theme of this spread, which is "My November Outlook is Inward." It sounds a little funny saying it out loud, but it makes total sense in my heart. And you can see that I added a little bit more of the orange watercolor on top of that as well. And I got a little on the page over there, but I'm just going to cover it up with this heart. You can be open to making mistakes and allowing yourself to make mistakes because it shows that you are making progress and you are taking steps in the right direction, because it's the action that brings clarity. We can be in our heads all day long, not really sussing things out or journaling things out, but there's different ways we can shine bright. And part of this is making sure that we use our supplies and take the time to go through this practice. I'm looking for something to fill this space, and I can't really find something that speaks to me for sure. I do want to put this celebrate small wins over here. I'm going back into my washi tape once again, pulling out these little hearts from one of my collaborations with American Crafts. And now I'm going to add one of the sayings that's on the printable, but I'm really wanting it in big, bold lettering. So it says, "Breathe, believe, release, receive." It's a very powerful and simple statement. And while I have the same color, I want to put some plus signs over here. I do like to make sure I have a little bit of the elements from other places on my page as well. I added a big sigh there because of what I want to let go of, right? So I said I want to feel my intuition fully and trust in the guidance. I want to let go of the weight that is not my responsibility to carry. Big sigh. The big Posca pen is something that I've been using quite a bit lately, and I really love how vibrant and thick the paint comes out. I also wanted to encourage you to use the printable however you want. I'm cutting part of the love list out because I can just reprint another copy if I want to, but I want to use this little added bit of color right here instead of actually doing it with watercolors. I'm just utilizing the sheet. And I took some brown watercolor out of that pen and I squeezed it onto that scrap paper up at the top there, and I'm taking another brush with water and adding these little splotches here. I just wanted it to be a little bit diluted instead of so dark. Don't usually use brown, but I'm liking the way it works, especially with that background for the November Outlook. And it's just a nice way to add a little bit of color and interest. Here is a white Posca pen in action, and I'm going to read you some of the journaling. My favorite things about fall: cozy time with family, walks and talks, beautiful sunsets, connecting convos, which is conversations, layering, sweater weather. And then at the top, I really wanted it to start off by saying, "My November outlook is inward. I remain hopeful and optimistic as usual, though we seem to always be in trying times. I feel the pull to go deeper within myself. to develop even more self-awareness, to harness my gifts and energies in ways that nourish and excite me. There is so much power and possibility just waiting to be unlocked. Take it one step at a time, celebrate small wins. Appreciation and gratitude are key to accomplishing and aligning with your values and intentions. There's profound magic in the little, tiny micro moments. Practice not just noticing them, but also celebrating them and those you love. Now with the extras, I turned the page and I already had this background made. I want to show you how versatile it is because here are colors that are different than the actual printable. And I think they really complement nicely with the tones of aqua, a little bit of lilac. It's pulling together in a neat way, and I hope you have found inspiration and joy in watching this come together. I'm very much looking forward to journeying with you each month with these free videos to inspire, uplift, and clarify your visions. I'm probably going to fill this love list up on these pages as well as things I am grateful for throughout the month of November. So I'll check in with you for December. Speaking of which, I'm already designing the December printable, but would love your input. If there's something in particular you would like to see, colors, or anything that comes to your mind or your heart, please comment below. Here's a look at another one that's also available, and this one is called Make Some Magic. It's always so wonderful to connect and create with you. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it and let me know something you wrote down. Thanks as always for watching. Hope you feel inspired to get those creative juices flowing.